Hello and welcome to Blazingstar Farm. It's been way too long since our last video, and it's time to kind of tell the story of what's been going on. Things have not been going quite to plan, and that's part of why it's been so long since the last video. And just to give some perspective, this is the state of our garage right now. We have had many projects back up, we've had a few too many pivots, and after the intro, I'll tell you all that's going on. All right, a bit more than 48 hours, and the rain has stopped, and I've changed clothes, and let's pick up where we left off. So, in the last video, I talked about how we weren't going to use the hatchery we had been trying to use. That meant I had to find alternate sources for the animals that our business plan called for. And for the most part, I've been able to do what we wanted, but it's been work. It has been hundreds of miles and tens of hours on the road to find all the small local hobbyist farms that had the one or two birds that we needed. But, we've gotten the birds. Behind me is all of our geese. We've managed to put a flock of Emdens together. We seem to have 2 ganders and 7 geese. We also have a pair of pilgrims. Unfortunately, the female pilgrim developed angel wings. We raised them from goslings. So that should be enough for us to have some geese available next year. And I think I'm done collecting animals, or at least for the most part, done collecting animals for this season. But that's only one of the reasons we're behind. The other reason we're behind is back here too. We had hired someone back in November to build us a deck and a fenced dog run. It was supposed to be done by the first of the year. As you can see, we've got a deck. They finally got around to building that deck in March. They came out, they laid out the fence, they dug some post holes, and then they never came back. They have our money, but we have no fence. We're trying to figure out what's going on. We're still dealing with that situation. But because we didn't have a fence, we didn't have a place to put Bondi as she started to get large. So she's been out next to the garage on a tie-out this entire time. Unfortunately, her tie-out is long enough to cause many headaches, and she is big and strong and kind of careless. So as she goes galumphing around, she accumulates the giant pile of debris. She's also been digging holes. But the worst of it is, it puts our new garden within range of her. And because the garden is within range of her, she has completely destroyed our efforts at getting the garden under control and up and running for the year. We originally had the goslings out here, but she tore through the fence. It was our fault, it wasn't energized at the time, to play with them, and one of them wound up panicking and breaking its neck in the mesh. But as you can see, we kind of have this black hole of stuff where Bondi collects things and drags them, and they all wind up in the middle of this yard. Our third problem has just been trying to do too much. We've taken on as many projects as we could think of this year, trying to get ourselves to a state where we understood what we would be doing long term as a business, right? This was the year to try and fail. We weren't expecting quite as much failing. We also had dramatically underestimated how much time we'd have. Definitely underestimated the fact that we're both back in the office in Chicago a fair bit of the time right now. Over here are the plants for the permaculture garden we haven't put in yet. Hopefully they'll make it through the summer and we'll be able to lay this out come fall. But this is probably a 2022 project at this point. So the fourth way things went off the rails for us this year was simply not knowing what we don't know. We did a fair bit of research. We thought we had designed good systems for running the farm, and our systems didn't work. This wasn't a contractor failing to deliver. This wasn't bad weather. This was they just didn't work. For example, we tried raising chicks using horse troughs. This is a system that I've seen used all over the place. It's how they sell chicks in most stores. It didn't work for us. We tried growing seed using what we thought was an upgraded version of our seed starting station from last year. It didn't work. We've tried many other things that simply didn't work. And we've learned. We've improved our systems. But there's still much improvement to do. I've had a dickens of a time with the garden. In addition to Bondi destroying it repeatedly and getting in our way as much as she could, the first batch of seeds I tried to sow didn't make it. The seeds I wanted to grow, I couldn't source because they were out of stock. And now I don't have a place to put these lovely plants. So I'm keeping them on life support for another week until we get everything set on that garden. But we are making progress. The site for the new garden is clear. The topsoil has been delivered. It's got a bit of weeds on it right now, but we're going to get this all leveled out over the next few weeks, cover this entire thing with landscape fabric, and keep the white fluffy one out of it. So come next spring, we will have a beautiful garden to work with. We'll also take those plants and put a nice row of them together. You know, it's not going to be the big giant garden we'd hoped for, but we'll at least get some tomatoes and peppers out of the deal. In addition to the seed starting not going to plan, we found the brooder system didn't work particularly well either. The big tub brooders were just cumbersome, hard to clean, and we never really got a cover on them to keep the month-olds from popping out. So we've upgraded. We have switched to a industrial-style factory brooder. I know factory and the type of birds we're trying to raise sounds contradictory, but this thing really was built for efficiency and is much nicer to work with. And it keeps the birds healthier.
So yeah, that is why our garage is a complete disaster area, why we haven't been posting much YouTube content, and we're promising to do better. We are committing to double down on our media production efforts because we think that's one of the most important things we're doing on the farm. We have streamlined our ambitions for the rest of the year. Dave says we haven't done it enough. I say we've done it too much. We'll see who's right. Hint, it's probably not me. But we're going to get there. We are learning, we are growing, and we will see you in a week.